Well, said Julian, I think it has worked. I overheard Professor Haaland saying the cure that Constantin had would work. Now it had been verified. He was talking to Madame Pomfrey when I was visiting Aaron just now. What does that mean? It sounds like it means that your dad's potion has been checked, that it is all right. Julian smiled, his green image flickering around the wall in the park in the village. Septimus felt a fuzzy feeling around his shoulders, as if he were wrapping himself up in the warmest winter scarf. That was worth talking to his friends about. So, you are on the way home now? Asked Darren, taking the place of Julian. Well, no, replied Septimus, abashed. I was ... but then ... now. What was he to say? He knew, from hundreds of miles away where his mother was being held. I'm on way to ... well, to where I think Mum is. And Professor Snape is with you? Darren replied. Septimus nodded, and said, yeah? Yeah, he is. He watched the fire crackle, as if the connection was about to be lost, and then, had a thought. Wait a minute, he instructed, reaching into his pocket. The tiny twist of paper containing the valuable non-wizard flu powder opened up in his hand. Another crackle, and Septimus flicked a little portion into the flame. Suddenly all of them, all three, came into focus. Professor Haaland? Asked Septimus, suddenly. Lindvald Haaland? Yes, said Julian. He took over when Professor Snape went with you. No good? No, good, corrected Julian. Excellent ... you'd like him, September. And Rufus? His plant experiments are ... interesting. Julian moved aside so Septimus could see their friend. Hi, Rufus. So, said Rufus Lestrange, not looking at him, but at the brooms around him, you are in the middle of Europe with Professor Snape. Did you find your mum? Not yet, Rufus. Mine keeps coming to school to train Quibble. And the plants are doing well. They can be arranged so they send out radio waves for communication. If in a circle, their waves overlap, and add up, making the radio waves have a bigger circumference, with the red amethyst stone of course. Iron aluminium silicon oxide, chipped in Julian. Could be used to protect more vulnerable plants in the middle, young ones, maybe this is why they grow naturally in rings or arcs. Doriel is helping, he added. Septimus thought of his little bird, once called Mervyn but renamed after her box label and Rufus's knowledge of owls. Rufus had taken her home at Christmas and he told her she had been getting on well with his dad's owls, and the radio that Julian had got him had helped him with directing the radio waves in the first place. Thank you, September, he added. For what? Being the owl for us. Rufus moved out of the picture as Julian pushed forward. There's been a law passed, to separate wizards from non-wizards, he said. Professor Haaland says he believes that wizards are going to live secretly. How? I dunno. There are much more non-wizards. And they can get their memory modified. What, all of them? Septimus said, astonished. That'll be one big trick to make sure no one has ever heard of wizards. I know that I'm going to meet Mum and I'll need help, he added. Yeah sure, said Julian. When we've sorted out here we'll be right over. Septimus smiled. Nothing had dimmed his best friend's sarcasm, not even this separation, which was clearly bothering him. I think I know a way, Septimus pressed. What do you know about a flu nudge? To transport physical objects? Darren interjected. Yeah? Well, I got the idea that I need some physical objects ... and as you said, once you've finished there, you'd be right over. Darren, what's a flu nudge? You can pass objects through time and space from one person on the flu to another. Rufus, you said your plants could be used to send radio waves out to protect something in the middle. In his mind's eye Septimus pictured the castle of X-Buttons with its terrible wailing. What if you wanted to protect something larger, could you amplify the signal? My pensieve, said Rufus. I've set up some transmitters. Hedgewards. Septimus began, but then popped out of the fire for a moment. Gotta go, someone's coming. The wall dimmed. The fireplace dimmed. Septimus felt happier. 88,888,888. Harry had stopped for lunch before walking back from Surrey to the tube line which, after 3 changes, got him back to their house in North London. He didn't know why he hadn't flued, or operated. Ever since the hearing, Harry felt a longing for non-wizard things, things that in 3 weeks' time he wouldn't be able to use. He sat alone for a time, listening to the clock ticking, as he waited for Hermione to return. She did not stop at the apartment in Strasbourg these days, instead flew straight back, or to her mum's. As far as her family was concerned, the wedding was going ahead, as planned. That was good, Harry thought. As to what concerned